Hey guys, so I'm supposed to explain to you how I got onto the spiritual path. I guess you could say it started in 2004 when my foster brother Jamie was murdered, and the day after I found out that he was murdered, so 2 days after he was murdered, he came through and started talking to me. And honestly, I'm not an idiot. I thought that I knew my childhood at that point. I was what? Math, 2004, 32? I don't know. I was around 32 when that happened. And I had quite the past growing up. I was quite aware that I probably was having some sort of a mental breakdown, and I concluded that I was actually having some sort of a mental breakdown and was imagining Jamie's voice comforting me and speaking to me after that. But I embraced it because I knew that it was a coping skill, and I had done other things throughout my childhood for coping skills, such as black things out. So um, I just kind of embraced it and didn't tell very many people because I knew that they thought that I would think that they would. I knew that they would think that I was crazy. So I didn't really tell very many people. I don't think I told anyone actually for a long time. So that was 2004. And then skip up to 2012 or 14. I can't even think right now. And what was happened, it was September. I believe it was my 40th, right before my 40th birthday, I believe. But I'm not going to do the math. So you guys can figure it out. Um, so in that month, I was living in Fort McMurray, Alberta. And I was driving across a 3-lane highway. 6-lane actually, it's three each way. And I was stopped at the red light waiting to cross, but it was raining sleet, and that makes ice on the windshield, and my windshield wipers weren't working. So while I was waiting, I tried to put my head out the window and look so I could drive like this, but the ice was hitting my eyeballs and it froze instantly. If you're up from the north, you'll know what I'm talking about. So that was not doable. And I had nothing that I could go around and scrape it with. So what I ended up doing was putting my head down and praying because I didn't know what else to do. And at that point, I honestly did not believe in the Bible or Jesus or anything. I kind of gave up on all of that. But fortunately, I said a prayer. I said, Angel Jamie, God, if you're there, can you please help me get across the road because I'm afraid that I'm not going to survive because it's rainy and dangerous and I can't see. And I looked up, and just on the driver's side window, there was a perfectly blow-dried rectangle, and the corners were rounded, and it was wavy, like it was being blow-dried. It was so cool, and I blinked my eyes a couple times. I was like, what? And looked around, and I didn't have my purse, my phone, and nothing because it was just a short trip. And when I pulled up into the driveway, it just dropped to ice, and I ran in. I freaked out and told everyone. And of course, they were all like, okay, whatever. We have no idea what you're talking about, why you're freaking out. But um, that's what happened. And that sparked my interest. And at that point, I started wondering if it was God or if it was angels or if it was Jamie. And yeah, turns out it was the angels. Anyways, about 2 weeks after that, I was laying in bed at about 3 or 5 a.m. I can't remember. I have this all written in some journal somewhere. And I was dead asleep, and there was a male voice, and it said, Lisa, get up and check the furnace filter. So I was dead asleep, so my brain woke up, but I still kept my eyes closed and stuff, and I was like, that's weird, so I just continued sleeping. And then the male voice, the exact same pace, the exact same loudness, said it again. Lisa, get up and check the furnace filter. At which time I opened my eyes, looked around, and took the pillow and put it on top of my head and laid back down. But then the male voice said it again. Didn't say it any louder than it did the other two times. It said the exact same way, and that's what was so amazing. But when it said it this time, my whole body vibrated like it was like trying to wake me up. So I jumped up really quick and ran down both flights of stairs, and it took about 5 minutes to break apart the furnace filter because it was so plugged it was clicking the fan, like the fan was going click, 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 and it was so packed that I'm pretty sure it would have started a fire right away. So then, yeah, so then I told my family that, and they're like, okay, well, that's weird and whatever. Ah, and to be honest, if someone else would have told me this about them when I was, before all this stuff had happened to me, I'd probably be like, cuckoo, cuckoo. But now I understand this stuff is real. Okay, and then, yeah. So after that, my daughter came home with 2 kittens, and it was over Christmas holidays. We live in Fort McMurray, Alberta, so there was only one veterinarian at the time, and I believe it was Christmas Eve, and the kitten fell. It was playing in between the the railings at the top of the stairs, and so when it fell, because it fell 2 stories onto its face onto cement. And so we looked, and the cat was respirating blood, and its face was actually smashed in. And try not to panic, and we went to look for veterinarians, but nothing was open until January 7th, and there was no emergency line back then. So we were a little bit panicking, and then that's the first time that my angels came through and started directing me to do things. And this is when they told me to go get a towel, put the towel on my bed, put the kitten on there, put my hands over top, and just breathe and relax. And I did that, and at the end they're like, okay, leave, and lock the door. So in the morning I was waiting outside the door, waiting for a message, waiting for them to tell me, and they didn't, so I just busted in, and the kitten was playing on the towel. The blood was all dried up, but the face was back out. And it was at that point I learned about energy healing. So I guess those are the things that started me on my spiritual path. Jamie, and the angels, and then God, and then the healing. So yeah, that's the first part, and that's kind of really condensed, but that's how I got on my spiritual path. Anyways, I hope that you guys can share with me down below how you got on your spiritual path. And I also want to say that I'm blessed and honored to be on this part of your journey with you. I love you guys so much. Namaste.